You ever have that feeling, like you're just constantly running, trying to get ahead, but somehow it feels like you're always falling behind? Our culture, it just celebrates speed. But what if we've been running the wrong race this entire time? Today, let's explore a totally different mindset. The idea that life isn't a sprint at all, but a marathon. So much of our world is really built around that sprint mentality, isn't it? It's this relentless focus on speed, on getting those quick wins. But the marathon mindset, that's playing a whole different game. It shifts the entire focus away from that immediate gratification and toward long-term endurance. You end up chasing a reward that is so much more profound, lasting, meaningful achievement. It's all about having the stamina to actually finish the race, not just the explosive power to start out fast. And this isn't some new, trendy productivity hack. It's timeless wisdom. To really get it, we need to look at people who didn't just talk about this idea, they lived it. So first up, a man who literally defines the word marathon, Eliud Kipchoge. He's the only human being to ever run the full 26.2 miles in under 2 hours. Now, you'd think his secret is all physical, right? But his true power source, the real engine that drives him, is his mind. Discipline equals freedom. I mean, that sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? But what Kipchoge is saying here is so profound. When you control your actions through discipline, you actually free yourself from being a slave to your fleeting moods and impulses. It means you, not your emotions, are in charge of the journey. And that kind of mental endurance, it applies way beyond a racetrack. Just think about Nelson Mandela. His entire life was the ultimate marathon of struggle. He spent 27 years in prison. Just let that number sink in for a second. Not days, not months, nearly 3 decades. That is a level of human endurance that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. This quote right here, this reveals the absolute core of his resilience. For Mandela, there was no such thing as losing. There was only winning or learning. In any marathon, you're going to stumble, you're going to hit a wall, but you only truly lose when you quit. That win or learn way of reframing things is exactly what fueled him to keep moving forward year after year after year. This whole philosophy of just persistent forward motion, it's not new, it's ancient. Thousands of years ago, the philosopher Confucius captured the very soul of the marathon mindset with an insight that is just as powerful today as it was back then. This is pretty much the essential mantra for life's marathon. We get so obsessed with the pace of our progress, don't we? We forget that the only thing that actually matters is that you don't stop. A single step forward every single day is going to take you miles further than a bunch of frantic sprints that just lead to burnout. Okay, so we've got these incredible examples from history and from sports. But what is the psychological engine that actually powers this kind of long-term endurance? Let's dive into the science a bit. I mean, we've all been there, right? That moment when you just feel like giving up, when that finish line seems impossibly far away. What is that internal force that lets some people push right through that wall while others just stop? Well, psychologists have a name for this force. They call it grit. And it's so much more than just being tough. It's a very specific, very powerful combination of 2 key ingredients: having a deep passion for a long-term goal, and then having the stubborn perseverance to keep fighting for it day in and day out. And here is why this is such a game changer. Researched by the psychologist Angela Duckworth, it revealed something pretty stunning. Over the long haul, grit is a much better predictor of success than raw, natural talent. Just think about that. Talent that doesn't put in the work is really just potential. But the person with grit, the one who shows up consistently, they will almost always beat the talented person who only works when they feel inspired. Okay, this is all really fascinating, but how do we actually use it? How do we train ourselves to have more grit and to run our own marathon? Let's break down a simple training plan for life. So your training plan really just boils down to 3 core rules. First, pace yourself. Seriously, you can't sprint a marathon. Burning out in the first mile because you're chasing quick wins, that's just a recipe for failure. Second, stay consistent. Forget about waiting for big bursts of motivation. Real momentum is built by the small, sometimes even boring habits that you do every single day. And finally, number 3, embrace the setbacks. Every stumble is just data. It's not a failure, it's feedback. You learn from it, you adjust your course, and you get back on your feet. And that brings us to one final, really crucial shift in perspective. If we only ever focus on the finish line, we end up missing the entire point of the race. So just remember this. Life's marathon doesn't reward the fastest start or the most natural talent. The real prize, the truest form of success, that's reserved for those with the courage and the grit to simply keep going, especially when it gets hard. It's all about honoring the commitment you made to yourself and finishing the race you started. So, as we wrap this up, just remember, your race is still going. The finish line might be far away, or maybe it's just around the corner. The only question that really matters today is the one you see right here. What is your next step?